Good morning to all of you. Morning Akash. Good morning Bipin. Good morning Sakshi. Am I audible? Okay. Audio video all clear? Right. A few new students have joined today. So we are going to start a new topic in this modern Indian history theme, that is economic policies and economic impact of British rule in India. Right. We already have discussed one part, that was India in 18th century, and there we have already discussed about the advent of Europeans in India. We have discussed about the decline of the Mughal power in India, and we have already discussed about the rise of regional states in the 18th century when Mughal power was declining. And now we are on our chapter number 2, that is economic policies and economic impact of British rule in India. Clear? Those students who are new, they can watch lecture number 1 to lecture number 5 on our YouTube channel, right? Okay, so you can start from there. Now keep yourself muted please. आप mute रखिए खुद को. Akash, are you asking something? Okay, keep your mic off, right? आप अपने आप को mute रखिए, right? Okay, and after the end of the class, when you will have to ask question, I will just tell you, you can ask your questions or the doubt, right? So now we are going to start the class, and this is the topic, economic policies and economic impact of British rule in India. Okay, so before we study this chapter, we first need to know that what is the importance of this chapter. That is the most important thing, right? What is the importance of the chapter? We must know that there was a foreign rule in India, company rule in India, British rule in India, and they ruled for almost 200 years, okay, from 1757 to 1947. And the main purpose of this rule was what? Okay, to ensure the economic exploitation of India, because India was a colony at that time. Okay, so we need to understand what is the basic purpose of studying this chapter, right? So the basic purpose of studying this chapter is to understand the colonial intervention, right? The basic purpose is to understand the colonial intervention. What is colonial intervention? EIC's rule in India was colonial intervention, right? 1757 to 1858 was the colonial intervention. British Crown rule in India was the colonial intervention. It means 1858 to 1947. This was what? Colonial intervention. Clear? Now, one student asked me a question last day, okay, that it was a question of SSC exam or kahin pucha gaya tha, that when British rule was established in India, what will be your answer? 1757 or 1858? Just write answer in your chat box. 1757 or 1858? What will you consider? Actually, these questions, okay, are subject of historical debates. Many historians consider that 1757 is the beginning of British rule in India, because here British rule in India was in its indirect form. Very good. Okay. Many historians consider that the British Crown rule in India should be considered as the colonial rule. Okay. तो जो 1858 मानते हैं उनमें ज़्यादातर लोग कौन से होंगे? They must be the colonial historians. So majority of the historians have opinion that the British rule in India started in 1757. This is the opinion of majority of historians. So we can go with this fact. Is it clear? That is the colonial intervention. Okay. So to understand the colonial intervention, not just as promoting or obstructing economic growth. देखो यहाँ पे एक debate है that colonial intervention was doing what? It was promoting economic growth of India or obstructing economic growth of India. जितने टॉपिक हम पढ़ने जा रहे हैं, in all these topics we need to explore this debate. For example, you all know the name of the Clive. Clive का नाम आपने सुना है. Now suppose UPSC ask a question that in what do you think, in your opinion, Clive was a hero or a villain? Discuss. तो क्या होगा? Until unless you don't understand the story, you don't understand the history, okay, in a different manner, you will not be able to answer this question. And once I will finish this chapter, you can answer the questions like this very easily. For example, if I ask you that, do you consider the Clive was, okay, some people consider Clive as Lord Vulture, Vulture, tyrant of Madras. Do you agree with this fact? तो देखो कितने मतलब these all are the opinion based question and UPSC exam is all about your opinions. ठीक है, मेरी बात समझ गया ना? So we need to know the facts also. We need to know land revenue policies also. Okay, we need to know facts and informations also, but at the same time we need to discuss the debates also. Okay, पता होना चाहिए ना? For example, what Clive did, we must know all these facts. Plus we must discuss that when Clive was, okay, the governor, okay, so in his rule there was economic prosperity or policies obstructed economic growth. So it's all in this colonial phase we will try to explore that the colonial intervention was doing what. Was it promoting economic growth or was it obstructing economic growth? Can we say in an abstract form yes or no? देखो बैलेंस करना पड़ेगा. For example, development of railways, उसका फायदा मिला ना, we got the benefits, ठीक है, but what was the ultimate purpose? We need to understand. In this chapter we will discuss everything, and this chapter is very interesting, one of the most interesting chapters in the modern Indian history, and but as affecting broader ways of life and the material reproduction of the society. It means the colonial intervention or colonial rule, it did what? It affected broader ways of life, and it also had the effect on the material reproduction of the society. We will discuss how. Okay, now this chapter, what we see here is that this chapter, economic policy, economic impact of British rule in India, is what? It is a battleground of historiography. Kitna आसान है? It's a battleground of historiography. And look at the question papers in UPSC. UPSC in mains have asked several questions from this chapter. It's a battleground of historiography. Why we are saying that battleground of historiography? कुछ लोग कहेंगे, some people will say that economic policies were good. Okay, British rule in India brought economic prosperity, and some will say that बेवकूफ मत बनाओ यार, ऐसा नहीं था. Okay, the ultimate objective was something else. So it is a battleground of historiography with little agreed between historians either of interpretation of the fact. It means there are two group of historians who generally discuss all these ideas. First I will discuss some perspective. ठीक है, अभी घबराना नहीं है. Then I will enter into the topic and I will discuss land revenue policy, each and everything in detail. Facts also I will discuss in detail, but first we need to discuss, develop some ideas in our mind. कि पढ़ते वक्त we can use those ideas. Okay, so first I am coming to discuss some ideas with you. Then I will enter into the topic. It will be easier for you. Now, what you have learned here, 2 points. Point 1, economic policies of British in India were doing what? They were promoting economic growth or they were obstructing economic growth. This we need to explore. What is the second point? That the economic policies and their impact on India is a battleground of historiography. It means historians' opinion are divided. One group of historians will say that अच्छा था British rule. One group of historians will say that बुरा था British rule. Right? One group of historians will say that it promoted economic growth. One group of historians say that okay, the economic prosperity of India declined during the rule of the British. Okay, these are the two takeaways, important takeaways from this point. Now the third point. Now there are three viewpoints I will discuss with you in more simple words. One group of viewpoint is colonial viewpoint. One group of viewpoint is nationalist historians viewpoint. And the third group of viewpoint is Marxist historian viewpoint. And what you will do? Keep writing important points. ठीक है? पूरी ग्रंथ नहीं लिखनी है. Okay, that's why I never share PPTs. ऐसा नहीं कि मैं नहीं चाहता कि आपका सिलेक्शन ना हो. You must, okay, leave this habit of collecting a lot of things. उसको हटाना है. Keywords लिखा करो, right? Keywords, so that you could relate the things. Okay, don't write the entire story. Now, colonial viewpoint. So there are three viewpoints here, and on the basis of these viewpoints, I will discuss this entire chapter. One viewpoint is the colonial viewpoint, right? And the second viewpoint is nationalist viewpoint, nationalist historians viewpoint, and the third viewpoint is Marxist historians viewpoint, right? Marxist historians viewpoint. So we'll discuss this chapter with these three perspectives. Okay, these three perspectives will be reflected while discussion of this topic. So the first perspective is what? Colonial viewpoint. And what is the colonial viewpoint? In more simple terms, what is the first sentence that is written here? So the first sentence, colonial viewpoint, what is the first sentence? The first sentence is the advent of British rule. It means 1757 onwards had brought peace, had brought good governance to the Indian subcontinent. It is colonial viewpoint that British rule in India was like a boon for the Indians. ठीक है, ये इंडियंस के लिए क्या था? एक वरदान था. Again, the same viewpoint that I have discussed with you in the last class, that British were trying to project themselves as liberators, muktidata, that they are the they are the Masiha. They have come here to civilize the Indian people, and Indian people are like white men's burden. ठीक है, बोझ है Indian people for the Britishers, and British are happily carrying this burden. ठीक है, खुश होके इस burden को उठा रहे हैं. That is white men burdenship theory. One theory is the civilizing mission theory. Okay, these all are what? Colonial viewpoint. And colonial viewpoint say that the advent of British rule had brought what? Peace. It had brought what? Good governance in the Indian subcontinent. And what is the second point? Second point is British rule in India. What happened? Development of modern transport and communication network too. And when they are talking about modern transport and communication network, they are talking about railways, postal telegraph network, right? At the time of Lord Dalhousie, 1853, the first railway line from Mumbai to Thane. You all know this fact. So colonial historians will take reference कि हमने क्या किया इंडिया में, रेलवेज डेवलप किए, फिजिकल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलप किया, राइट? एंड दिस लेड द फाउंडेशंस ऑफ मॉडर्न इकोनॉमी फॉर इंडिया. It means we the British people laid the foundation of modern economy in India. This is the colonial viewpoint. ठीक है, the colonial historians are claiming this, that the British laid the foundation of modern economy in India. And the third point, again look here, the railway network and irrigation system was introduced by British. ये बात सही है, railway network was introduced by British. ठीक है, it's true. Was the bedrock on which a modern economy was built in India, right? Again, they are emphasizing on this fact that we built railways, we built irrigation system, and irrigation system will do what? Irrigation system will boost agriculture production and productivity, and this will further boost what? Economy. So this is their claim that this was happening, and the British conferred the benefit of Western science and education and prepared the Indians for self-government. Colonial historians are also claiming that we made efforts, हमने कोशिश की, and we are responsible for giving the opportunity to the Indians so that they were familiar with Western science, right? Physics, chemistry, mathematics, technology, medical sciences. ये सब हमने Indians को सिखाया. They were familiar with the modern political system. They were familiar with the new administrative system and practices, and all credit goes to British. सारा का सारा credit किसको जाता है? British को जाता है. And in this way, we are responsible for preparing Indians for self-government. 1947 में इंडिया आज़ाद हुआ. ठीक है, election was there, constitution development was there. Okay, all this happened because we prepared Indians for this. हमने Indians को तैयार किया. It means, what is the gist of this topic? That the colonial viewpoint considers that the colonial rule in India was a boon for Indians, right? The British here in India were liberators. British क्या थे? They were the liberators. They were not exploiters. वो colonizers नहीं थे. They were not exploiters. They were not colonizers. Okay. By their efforts, they civilized Indian people. This is the colonial viewpoint. यही है colonial viewpoint. कि अपनी कोशिश है, हमने क्या किया? Indians को civilize किया. This is colonial viewpoint. Now, what is the second viewpoint here? The second point, again, this is a statement. Okay. Now, then yes, please. British, not only British, okay, Germans were also developing railway, Italians were also developing railway, but British developed railway in their colonies also. Other group of Europeans also did the same. But there is a reason behind this, and that is what? Investments. Why these investments were made? Because communism was getting popularity in those countries. They need some safe they need some safe destination for their investments. And in India in 1850s, communism was not popular, so the British capitalists thought that we can park our money in India, and the government promised them that we will give you guaranteed benefit or guaranteed dividends on your investments that will vary from 5 to 12%. Okay, गवर्नमेंट ने गारंटी दिया कि अगर आप 100 रुपए लगाओगे, 100 रुपीज इन्वेस्ट करोगे, तो यू विल गेट मिनिमम बेनिफिट ऑफ 5 to 12, उससे ज़्यादा भी हो सकता है. And Indians were not given the opportunity to do the investment in the railways. Okay, so by these investments also British were earning. Basically I was to discuss this topic later. ठीक है, when I will discuss railways I will discuss this in detail. तो घबराना नहीं, ये थोड़ा मैंने जल्दी में बताया because इसको मैं डिटेल में बताने वाला हूँ. Right, that's a very important topic. Now nationalist viewpoint क्या है? What is the nationalist viewpoint? Okay, the nationalist economics like Dadabhai Naoroji, Mahadev Govind Ranade, his M.G. Ranade, G.V. Joshi, right? G.V. Joshi. Nationalist economists like Dadabhai Naoroji, M.G. Ranade, Mahadev Govind Ranade, and G.V. Joshi. There are other names as well. I will discuss with you later. Okay, this is only to understand the essence. Okay, one important fact about M.G. Ranade, लिख लेना चाहिए आपको. That is very important. So M.G. Ranade was the political guru of Gopal Krishna Gokhale, and Gopal Krishna Gokhale was the political guru of Gandhi. This question is a question of prelims exam. Read this. Gandhi's political guru was Gokhale, and Gokhale's political guru was M.G. Ranade. That's the important fact. You must know this. Okay. Gandhi's political guru was Gokhale, and Gokhale's political guru was M.G. Ranade. Gandhi's political guru was Gokhale, and Gokhale's political guru was M.D. Ranade. And they gave here basically Dadabhai Naoroji gave a theory, and that is what? Drain of wealth. इसके बारे में भी later we will discuss in detail. I am just introducing the chapter because here we read in very details, not details, very details. Okay, so drain of wealth from India to Britain. It means nationalist historians are saying that British are basically, okay, doing what? They are doing unilateral transfer of wealth from India to Britain, and India is getting nothing in return. ब्रिटिश क्या कर रहा है? इंडिया का पैसा कहाँ लेके जा रहा है? ब्रिटेन, और बदले में हमें कुछ नहीं मिल रहा है. दिस इज व्हाट? यूनिलैटरल ट्रांसफर ऑफ वेल्थ फ्रॉम इंडिया टू ब्रिटेन. ओके, एंड इन दिस वे दिस इज द मेन रीजन फॉर द इम्पोवरिशमेंट ऑफ आवर कंट्री. हमारे देश की गरीबी का जो राज है वो यही है, बिकॉज हमारा पैसा धीरे धीरे ब्रिटिश कहाँ लेके जा रहा है? ब्रिटेन लेके जा रहा है. दैट इज द ड्रेन ऑफ वेल्थ. आई विल लेटर डिस्कस दिस इन डिटेल. नाउ Naoroji developed this argument about the drain of wealth from India, and he wrote a book, and the name of that book was Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. बुक का नाम क्या है? Un-British Rule. And what is Un-British Rule? Why this word has been used? Un-British. Un-British का मतलब ये है कि when Crown rule was established in India in 1858. We all know that 1757 to 1858 there was company rule. Company rule was replaced with Crown rule. Crown became the ruler of India. Company rule ended, and the Crown said that we will treat Indian subjects like the British subjects. हिंदुस्तान की जनता को हम ब्रिटेन की जनता की तरह समझेंगे. We will not discriminate with Indian subjects. हिंदुस्तान की जनता के साथ कोई भेदभाव नहीं होगा. Okay? British subjects and Indian subjects both are equal for the crown. दोनों एक जैसे हैं, right? And we will provide the same kind of system of administrative practices that is in Britain in India. It means we will provide responsible and responsive governance in India. इंडिया में हम वैसा ही responsible और responsive governance लाएंगे जैसा कि ब्रिटेन में है. नौरोजी ने एक्सपोज कर दिया ब्रिटिश को. नौरोजी ने कहा बहुत बेवकूफ बना लिया इंडियंस को. इंडिया में वैसा ब्रिटिश रूल नहीं है जैसा कि ब्रिटेन में है, एंड दैट्स व्हाई ही सेड दैट poverty and un-British rule in India. It means the nature of British rule in India is different from the nature of British rule in Britain, that is un-British rule, and this is the root cause of poverty of India, impoverishment of India. तो इस पूरी बुक की टाइटल का मीनिंग इतना डीप है दैट यू मस्ट अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ अन-ब्रिटिश रूल इन इंडिया. The nature of British rule in India is not the same as the nature of British rule in Britain. It means the British government is discriminating with Indian people, and this is the root cause of poverty and impoverishment of Indian people. हिंदुस्तान में गरीबी, हिंदुस्तान के लोगों की गरीबी का ये सबसे बड़ा रीजन है. Got it? Now, they argued that British rule led to the impoverishment of India and that the Indian economy was subordinated to meet the needs of British economy. Nationalist historians are saying that, okay, हिंदुस्तान की गरीबी का कारण, पॉवर्टी का कारण, इम्पोवरिशमेंट का कारण, इंक्रीज नंबर ऑफ फेमाइंस, ठीक है, इंक्रीजिंग इंटेंसिटी ऑफ द फेमाइंस, इन सब का रीजन क्या है? दैट इज द ब्रिटिश रूल, दैट इज द रूट कॉज. ब्रिटिश रूल इज द रीजन एंड इंडियन इकोनॉमी हैज बीन सबऑर्डिनेटेड to fulfill the needs of British economy, and that is the definition of colony. If country is a colony, so there will be a mother nation, parent country, who will control this colony. So the economy of the colony, the social system of the colony, the administrative system of the colony, each and everything in the colony is designed and developed in such a manner that it will not provide benefits to the economy of that colony. Instead, it will give benefits to the parent country, to the mother nation. And that was happening in India. British developed railways in India not to ensure the benefits of Indians. ये कौन कहेगा? Nationalist historians. They developed railways in India, okay, to secure maximum gains for Britain. ब्रिटेन को और ज्यादा फायदा हो सके, इसलिए इंडिया में रेलवे डेवलप किया. ये ओपिनियन किसका है? दिस इज द ओपिनियन ऑफ द नेशनलिस्ट हिस्टोरियंस. नाउ आर यू फैमिलियर? जनरल आइडिया दैट व्हाट कॉलोनियल historiography sense, what is the sense of nationalist historiography about this topic. And now the third sense here is the Marxist perspective. ये भी बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग है, एंड दैट इज ये सबसे ज्यादा वैलिड आर्ग्यूमेंट लगता है, दैट आई विल डिस्कस विथ यू. द मार्क्सिस्ट पर्सपेक्टिव. एंड व्हाट इज दिस मार्क्सिस्ट पर्सपेक्टिव? नाउ हियर सम नेम्स आर रिटन, आर.पी. दत्ता एंड आर.के. मुखर्जी, इरफान हबीब, एंड these names are not that much important for you. ठीक है ना? Names are not that much important for you. What you should know, Marxist perspective and simple opinion. This is important. Optional students में opinions थोड़े डिटेल में ज़्यादा पढ़ने होते हैं. So here we simply discuss what Marxist perspective. देखो क्या है Marxist understanding, क्या है, right? In world history class we will discuss these ideas, that what is communism, Marxism, socialism, तो वो वहाँ discuss करेंगे. So I am not further elaborating. तो देखो Marxist understanding क्या है कॉलोनियल इकोनॉमी की. ओके देखो क्या, सबसे पहले दिस पॉइंट वी शुड नो दैट, ओके, देखो क्या this point first, let's discuss this, then I will discuss other points. The Marxist historians share many ideas with the nationalists. इसका मतलब क्या है? At many points the opinion of nationalist historians and Marxist historians are same, similar. तो कितना आसान हो गया कि opinion of nationalist historians and Marxist historians are similar at many points. What does it mean? It means nationalist historians say that British are exploiting India, right? British economic policies are exploiting India. In the same way, Marxist historians also believe that British economic policies are exploiting India. ब्रिटेन की इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसीज क्या कर रही है? इंडिया को एक्सप्लॉइट कर रही है. एंड व्हाई द ओपिनियन इज सिमिलर? मार्क्सिज्म, Britain was a country which was first industrialized country, capitalistic nation. East India Company in India was, okay, one of the, you can say that, first modern corporate of the world, right? Okay, so obviously the Marxist will charge company, will charge capitalist. उनका हमला कहाँ होगा? कैपिटलिस्ट पे होगा. और ये क्या है? दे विल चार्ज ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी दैट ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी इज डूइंग कॉर्पोरेट कॉन्स्पिरेसी एंड कॉर्पोरेट वायलेंस इन इंडिया. ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी इंडिया में क्या कर रही है? कॉर्पोरेट कॉन्स्पिरेसी, कॉर्पोरेट वायलेंस. दे विल चार्ज ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी. ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी को क्लीन चिट नहीं देंगे मार्क्सिस्ट हिस्टोरियंस, बिकॉज दैट इज अ, ओके, symbol of capitalism, symbol of industrialization. So now they share many ideas. For example, nationalist historians also believe in drain of wealth, that British were doing what? Drain of wealth from India. Marxist historians were also believing that British were doing what? Drain of wealth from India. Nationalist historians were also believing that British economic policies ensured डी-इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन ऑफ इंडिया. ठीक है, इंडिया में जो पहले से एक ट्रेडिशनल इंडस्ट्रीज थी उनको डिस्ट्रॉय कर दिया ब्रिटिश इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसीज ने, राइट. दिस इज द बिलीफ ऑफ द नेशनलिस्ट हिस्टोरियंस दैट ब्रिटिश इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसीज लेड टू द डिस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ द ट्रेडिशनल इंडस्ट्रीज इन इंडिया. इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसीज की वजह से इंडिया की ट्रेडिशनल इंडस्ट्रीज डिस्ट्रक्ट हो गई. द सेम व्यू पॉइंट इज शेयर बाई मार्क्सिस्ट हिस्टोरियंस. ये भी कहते हैं कि इंडिया में डी इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन ब्रिटिश इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसीज की वजह से ही हुआ. अगेन द नेशनलिस्ट हिस्टोरियन सेज दैट द ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी इन इंडिया promoted, और ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट इन इंडिया promoted कॉमर्शलाइजेशन ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर. ठीक है, एंड दिस कॉमर्शलाइजेशन ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर वाज फोर्स्ड कॉमर्शलाइजेशन. इसको मैं अभी डिटेल से डिस्कस करूंगा क्या है आगे, अभी हिस्टोरियन सेंस समझो. दे promoted forced commercialization of agriculture. Marxist historians are also saying that British economic policies promoted forced commercialization of agriculture. Nationalist historians are also saying that East India Company did what? It exploited the common people. Common people का exploitation हुआ. And here the Marxist historians are also saying that क्या किया गया? Common people का exploitation company ने किया. So Marxist historians and nationalist historians, their viewpoint is similar. ठीक है? Now I am coming to the second part here, because whenever UPSC will ask question from this part, okay, so the question will be approach based question. Okay, now what this Marxist opinion tends to say here, okay, so मैं इसको I am just I will explain it with the help of a sketch. Okay, so you can learn it better. Okay, so with the help of board work we can learn it better. Okay, and that is the viewpoint of Marxist historian. Okay, so basically that is the main you can say that main viewpoint, or you can say that most important argument of Marxist historians. What I am going to discuss with you is one of the most important argument of Marxist historians. And what is this argument? Okay, those students who have finished chapter 1 they can learn it better. ठीक है, ज़्यादा बेहतर आप समझ सकते हो. और वो क्या है? That I am asking you a simple question, that British rule in India, that is indirect British rule in India in the form of EIC rule, East India Company rule, was established in which year? So the answer was 1757, right? It means British Raj, Company Raj started in which year? 1757. This is the year that what we see is that Company Raj or British Raj started in this year. Company Raj or British Raj started in the year 1757 with a very popular battle that is known as Battle of Plassey. And with this Battle of Plassey, British were successful in controlling one of the most important and rich provinces of India, and that was Bengal. ठीक है ना? Between these centuries, 16th to 18th centuries, between these centuries, 16th to 18th century, Bengal emerged as one of the most prosperous trading center in India. Okay, so this is a history of 200 years. Bengal emerged as one of the most prosperous center for the trade and commerce in India. ठीक है, इंडिया में बंगाल emerged as the one of the most prosperous center for trade and commerce between 16th to 18th century. Or 1757 is which century? It's the second half of 18th century. इसी बंगाल को हड़प लिया अंग्रेजों ने, right? So 1757 is what? It is the second half of 18th century. And in this second half of 18th century, British did what? They established control over Bengal. And this is the beginning of British Raj. यही है हिंदुस्तान में ब्रिटिश राज की शुरुआत. एंड दिस बैटल इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट ऑल्सो ड्यू टू द इवेंट्स दैट वेर फॉलोड बाय दिस बैटल. इसके बाद जितने भी इवेंट्स हुए उनकी वजह से ये बैटल और भी ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है, एंड दैट इज़ व्हाट 1764, दैट इज़ व्हाट बैटल ऑफ बक्सर। बैटल ऑफ बक्सर डिड व्हाट, बोर तो नहीं हो रहे हो ना आप लोग? ठीक है, मैं बड़ा खुश हूँ, अपनी मर्जी से पढ़ा रहा हूँ, ठीक है, हर एक चीज़ बताऊंगा, बिकॉज देर आर नो लिमिटेशंस, नो बाउंड्रीज, ठीक है, राइट ऑफ सेल्फ डिटर्मिनेशन, ठीक है, ठीक है, तो जो पढ़ोगे बेहतरीन पढ़ोगे, राइट? नाउ दिस इज व्हाट बैटल ऑफ बक्सर 1764। बैटल ऑफ बक्सर डिड व्हाट, सो इट कन्फर्म्ड, बैटल ऑफ बक्सर डिड व्हाट, इट कन्फर्म्ड द विक्ट्री इन बैटल ऑफ पलासी। बैटल ऑफ बक्सर ने क्या किया, इट कन्फर्म्ड द विक्ट्री इन बैटल ऑफ पलासी। एंड द नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट इवेंट, यू ऑल नो दिस, विपिन व्हाट इज द नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट इवेंट हियर? अगला क्या है? Very good. 1764, sorry, 65. That is the Treaty of Allahabad, and from this treaty, British got what? Diwani rights of Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha. It means now company was not only a trading company; it emerged as an administrative body in India. Okay, this is one event. You all know this in this event. This is the part chapter 1 which we discussed. Again, it is followed by another important event, that is what 1765 to 1772, and this event is known as what, dual system of governance in Bengal. यही है ना, dual system of governance in Bengal. Who started this dual system of governance? So the answer was Clive. यही था ना, क्लाइव ही था। बैटल ऑफ पलासी, द आंसर इज क्लाइव, यहाँ भी क्लाइव आ गया। याद करो, कर्नाटिक वॉर, हु रेस्क्यूड मोहम्मद अली, ठीक है, फ्रॉम द फोर्ट ऑफ त्रिचनापल्ली, क्लाइव, ठीक है। हु वाज सक्सेसफुल इन एंडिंग द डोमिनेंस ऑफ द फ्रेंच कंपनी, द आंसर इज क्लाइव। तो हु वाज द रियल फाउंडर ऑफ ब्रिटिश राज इन इंडिया, द आंसर इज क्लाइव, यही तो है।